untie themselves because you're refusing the law, statutes, and commandments. You're refusing the righteous acts. You're refusing the Lord, and you seeking death, and you pretty much hate yourself because one thing one thing majority, all right, no, one thing the nation of Israel, the elected nation of Israel has in them is they want to live, which is a natural instinct, and we want to live. We don't want to be destroyed. So we seeking and doing the things that'll lead to eternal life and immortality. But 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they're not seeking eternal life. They're not seeking immortality. They're not seeking to live forever. We seeking to live forever. We seeking to rule. We seeking to sit on thrones.
If I made the scripture say, what I'm saying, all day they hate me, love them.
Yeah.
So Wisdom of Solomon 3, verse 11. Wisdom of Solomon 3, verse 11. It says, "For whoso despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain, their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable." So you go into the wisdom of this world. Yeah, you might get a nice job. You have a nice car. You have a nice house. But when it comes to prophecy, when it comes to things that are happening, around the four corners of the earth, geopolitics, the technology being pushed, you have no idea what's coming to you, man. What's the point of gathering all those riches, these worldly possessions if you can't keep them, man? You got people that's over you saying you're gonna own nothing and be happy. What does that mean to you? That means the lifestyle you're chasing is nothing but an illusion, man. You're being occupied and distracted by BS, while the men of the Lord are taking this thing serious, man. It starts with the fear of the Lord, man. Think about a baby saying, "No, I don't want to eat my vegetables. No, I don't want to drink the milk." You're gonna be a skinny ass, demonic ass baby, man. You're not gonna grow.
Nutrient deficient.
You're gonna be looking bug out, and that's a sign of death, man. When someone's dying, they don't want to eat nothing. It means they're dead when they're dying, man. Or they're really, really sick. What I'm saying? That's our people, 2/3. That's Isaiah the first chapter. Yeah. They don't want to be healed. Imagine that. You crying, you sick, but you don't want to be healed.
Wow, that's Jake, man.
That's our people.
That's Jake.
They'll complain all day. They'll sit you down. There's one of them goddamn. He's still talking.
Yep.
But he don't want a solution. He just want to keep complaining, man. That's our people.
Yep. Yeah. A week or two ago, I was outside of Walgreens one night, and I seen a lady with the hospital things still attached to her chest. She had a bottle of medication, and she was smoking a cigarette. I'm like, this shit don't make no sense. You sitting here outside of Walgreens, just picked up your medication. You still got the hospital things connected to your chest, and you got the bottle of medication in one hand, the cigarette in the other. I'm like, you destroying yourself.
Yep.
Some people you're a diabetic, but you indulge in sugar and other things that could kill you. You got high blood pressure, and you on high blood pressure medication, but you eating pork chops and bacon and other abominable flesh, which cause you high blood pressure. You got lung cancer, but you're sitting here smoking cigarettes, which was one thing that led you to get lung cancer. People in this society, like I always say this, people in this society is ass backwards, and IQ is just went the opposite way and going downhill. Because what's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right now. But I'm gonna read this last verse again. Proverbs 15:32. The fear of the Lord is instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. And we gotta go through humility first. You gotta crawl before you walk. You gotta be low before you be uplifted. You gotta be wounded before you be healed. It's like rites of passage. You gotta go through that fire. You gotta go through that purification. You gotta go through that humility. And Jake don't want, and 2/3 of Jake want to be proud in the state they in. You humble yourself. We in a low state. We're in a low state right now. We at the bottom of the barrel. On a worldly stage. But But the elect of the nation of Israel, Lord's will and them, be rich in spirit. You know?
It's Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, Proverbs 1 and 7. The fear of Yahweh, Bashmi Al-Shai, is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
All right, it says the fear of Yahweh Shem Al-Shai is the beginning of knowledge. What knowledge? All right, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. Y'all keep reading one more time.
Proverbs 1, verse 7, the fear of Yahweh, Bashmi Al-Shai, is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
All right, it says, but fools, all right? And who are the foolish, all right? 2/3 of the nation of Israel, all right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, according to the seed line of the Father. It says, but fools despise, which means they hate wisdom and instruction, all right? You know, like brothers been going into the truth, you know, what the practice is telling our people, you know, this is the do's and don'ts according to the scriptures. But you know, we all know that, you know, that this word is only for the elect, you know. Only the elect is going to seek repentance, all right, and turn back into the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
Is Philippians chapter 2, verse 12, Philippians 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Back on the brother's points, only the elect can take the warning seriously, because they fear Yahweh Bashem Shai. What's the point of a warning if you don't fear it? You know, don't go that way. It's a bad place to go. You're gonna get in trouble, man. Yeah. You don't got fear. You're not gonna take heed to that. Same with Noah. What I mean, notice that the whole earth is about to flood the water. That's not scary enough for you,
right?
You know, to get right with the Lord. Then what is, man? It is. And this time we're telling you that missiles gonna come, man. After the MOTB's made mandatory, they make this chip mandatory, and you got to take it to participate in this world. And the consequence is, you know, obviously the nukes, but you're gonna get a cancerous sore. It's gonna be torment, man. And the piece you were sold, you thought you was straight in the green zones. Wait a second, what? Why they looting? You know, hold on. Why they got blue hats? You know, because America's gonna get invaded some way or another, man. Either, you know, informal, which, you know, now warfare is different, man. They don't wear, I'm like, you know, the British, all red and shit. Hey, I'm with the cavalry. I'm with the, no, man, these motherfuckers come dressed up like normal motherfucking people, and they cause mayhem, man. They're called agents, man. Sleeper cells, right? But you got a chip though. You straight? Yeah, right, man. Same with that juicy juice. Are you okay? You know, ask niggas that took that vaccine. Are you good? You all right? You know, you look a little, you know, weak.
You know, maybe wearing the same shit you're wearing.
That's overt operations, man. You know, but again, going to us working on salvation of fear and trembling, it was because why? Because again, we took heed to that warning, man. Simply put, we know these are words of, you know, we know these are the words of Yahweh Bashem Shai. As the Lord said, my sheep hear my voice, and we said, all right, we'll get our shit together, man. There's no questions asked. It might take us some time to get it together, you know, some quicker than others, but eventually you say, damn, I gotta get right, man. You know, but everybody else is partying, BSing, again, but like the days of life, days of Noah, man. You know?
And in the days of Noah, people never seen water fall from the sky. But we could look up and see the missiles. You know, we could search the ICBMs and hypersonic missiles. Right. We've been being told about them. We've heard and seen the destruction that those weapons cause. And which should be even more of a reason, you know, we believe in the spirit, but the fact we could see physically, what should be even more of a reason to say, oh shit, you know what? Them men might something. Because we're not speaking to something unheard of or unseen. We speaking to something that's known of mass destruction. No one was warning about water falling from the sky.
I'm gonna bring this up. I'm still in this chapter. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, the Lord power had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. Verse 6, but there a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. So the due.
Yeah, the dew. It was dew. So Noah came on the scene. Hey, yo, water about to fall from the sky. They like, dude, talking. Noah talking about water about to fall from the sky, y'all. We ain't never seen no shit like that. They laughing and clowning and mocking and scoffing and scorning. You know, he building a boat. You know? But look, we know hypersonic and ICBM nuclear missiles exist. And we have the knowledge and information of the destruction that they could cause. And we were warned that lake of fire is going to come from those nuclear missiles. Which should be, like I'm saying, a clear reason to believe even more. Because we know it exists. But, you know, people so ignorant and just stuck, they just think them weapons finna just collect dust and be put away.
This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Yep. It says fear the Most High. But this is the whole duty of man. All right, yeah, you know, because this is our reasonable service, man. You know, this is our sole purpose. It's to fear the Lord. All right. Because if we fear the Lord, that means what? That we being obedient to the Lord. That means that we're submitting to the will of our power, man. You know, that means that we're not going to do nothing to bring the Lord's wrath, man. You know, it's hot displeasure. All right.
I got a definition of duty: a moral or legal obligation, a responsibility, loyalty, obedience, faithfulness, respect, reverence. You know, people want to say, how do I, reverence the Lord? I just that and the third. Obedience. You know, your duty is to keep his ways. And I got one precept.
Yeah, we're talking about Noah building the ark. You know, he dedicated his whole life building that ark. 120 years of building a ginormous boat that was nowhere near the sea. Mm-hmm. You know, for the average man during that time, it seemed to be worthless. Well, no, why didn't you build this next to the shore so we can actually conquer the world and do things like that? Go and see what's beyond this regional land.
Right, and Lord willing, we can do it. We still have the faith that Noah had. Because you gotta look at it. It takes faith to believe what we're saying. The Lord gave an actual physical thing you can see. Look, this is what he's doing. And us out on the highways and byways should be a big sign for our people. But I got this real quick. During 2012, and now Israel, huh? Okay. During 2012, and now Israel, what doeth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes which I command thee this day for thy good.
It's just like the brother was beautifully going into, because the brother said a moral obligation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is not like you always go to, bro. And the Lord is not asking you, man. The Lord is demanding that you do these things.
Yep.
All right. If you want to live, that's why the scripture goes and seek ye me and live. If you want to live, man, you're going to fear the Lord, which means you're going to be obedient. You're going to reverence the Lord. You're going to do the things that are required of you to do. All right. And how do you find that out? Within these scriptures, man, because this is their counsel, to show you, this is the guide.
Yeah, the first thing was fear.
Yep.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. For we are glad when we are weak, and ye are strong. And this also we wish, even your perfection. Therefore I write these things being absent, lest being present, I should use sharpness according to the power which the Lord hath given me to edification and not to destruction. And it says, for we can do nothing against the truth before the truth. And we out here on these highways and the byways pushing this truth and sincerity for the truth and for the Heavenly Father and the Son. And it says, for we are glad when we are weak and ye are strong, and this also we wish even your perfection. And we wishing for the perfection. We wishing for salvation. And I'm gonna jump down to the point that says, according to the power which the Lord has given me to edification and not to destruction. Because we out here to edify. We not out here for destruction. We out here for instruction.
Okay, that edify means to build up. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the words of life. So we speaking life into our people, man. We showing them the ways of salvation. You gotta go.
It's Proverbs 14 and verse 26. It says, in the fear of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai is strong confidence, and his children have a place of refuge.
Right. It said the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, right? Because that word confidence goes into the word of fidelity, which means faith. All right. Because we believe in these prophecies, man. We believe that these things are going to be fulfilled. We believe that the MOTB is the seal that's written about in Revelation 13 and 16. All right, we believe that World War III is going to jump off. We believe in the famine. All right, we believe in all these things that are spoken of within these scriptures.
Yeah, the scripture say, wisdom and knowledge should be a stability of thy times. That's a strong confidence that we have. That wisdom and knowledge is going to lead us and guide us through the perilous times to come.
But back you up, because when the scriptures say in 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, the wisdom of the world is foolish, if you live long enough, you realize that, look, this the wisdom that they're providing, look where it's gotten.
Yeah, mass layoffs. AI taking their jobs. Them depending on this system that was set up to fail the whole time.
Yep.
And you see, you might watch a video of like an altercation. I'm watching a video of this woman. Walked up to this couple. It was like a heated debate, heated argument, and this, the woman basically like slapped the girl's back of the head, and the guy stand up, tried to push the girl and missed, and walked away like don't touch me, I'm scared. So this world ain't really preparing for if they can't even handle a simple altercation like that.
Yeah.
Wait until there's people with swords in their hands going up to and fro in the streets.
Yeah. I had a coworker tell me one time, it was like, man, the way the world's going, just take me. I don't want to live in this. Just take me. And I was like,
yeah, I had a family member tell me, I don't know if I want to have any kids here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we need a safe house. Start storing up goods and have a place where we all meet.
Yeah. I mean, there's some benefits to that, but that ain't the end all be it all. That ain't what you trust in.
Yeah, you see what happened in what was that movie with the apparitions? I believe it was. It's been a while since we've seen it, but I can't really describe it. It had that one woman actress. It's kind of like, oh man, I can't remember.
Is it an older movie or?
It was a newer movie. It was like came out during in COVID. Like whenever they would see it, they would take basically whenever you would see the trouble, whenever you look at it, you would be possessed.
Oh, yeah. Nah. I know exactly what you're talking about. They had to cover their eyes, right?
They had to cover their eyes. It was like the noise or something. It was like whenever they would hear the noise, they would start hearing spirits and tell them to bug out.
Yeah.
And they had
you talking about was it something bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soundbird. That's what happened in Soundbird.
Bird Box.
Bird Box.
That's
Bird Box.
They were going house to house searching, for goods.
Yeah.
So eventually they're gonna go house to house like the scriptures tell us.
And people really go see monstrous apparitions in the near future. Because that's a part of prophecy. People seeing monstrous apparitions.
The brother put in the group chat last week. Remember? It's not real. It's not real. Did you get that video?
Are you talking about the guy who was driving down the road?
Yeah.
And he was like, "That's not human."
Yeah.
Yep,
It's not human. Yeah.
He said that's not human.
Yeah.
And then he jumped on the back of his
Yeah.
But there's so much skits on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But I mean, look. Go ahead, you got it.
But I mean, it's really some shit out there in the trees.
Yeah.
In the woods.
Yeah.
Like Jeepers Creepers.
That's what I thought about when they was describing it.
Yeah, me too.
Like, you gotta think, there's been stories passed down for generations about creatures.
Yeah.
And not to mention, we know that there's creatures and animals still out there that people probably haven't seen for generations. That the people probably chased out.
Yeah.
Gad
and Bruce talk about that, about seeing things like that.
Yeah, because what do man do? Man see some shit, and we go kill it. You gotta think. When the last time we seen a wolf? America used to be full of wolves at a point in time.
They still here though.
But they still here. But do you see them?
Right.
No. They said jaguars and mountain lions and shit like that was here in America. Do you see those often? No. But they there. Bears and all other types of animals and creatures out there.
Yep. Where we at?
I was edified. How about you not talk about it? Don't
Just read.
This is Jeremiah 15 and 3, and I will appoint over them 4 times, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemawashai, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. So the Lord is setting up, these different type of plagues and calamities, to come forth in the earth. The sword. For you to take the sword against your fellow neighbor, someone you go to work with, someone who you pay taxes with, your fellow citizens, there must be something dire in the land. Because back in the ancient times, people would come together and fight against and oppose an army. But the government has played psychological warfare to tell you that your neighbor is your enemy. The guy, I saw a meme where it was like a guy, he had a plate of cookies. It was an Edomite and a Jake. Said that it was an Edomite with some cookies on his plate. And they had an Edomite and a Jake. The Edomite had one cookie, and the guy with all the cookies said, "Hey, he's trying to take your cookie." And it was like a flash scene. It was like a flash forward scene. This nigga had a bunch of cookies on his plate now, like he was stacked up. The dude had one cookie, so he said, "Hey, that guy's trying to take your cookie."
Right.
Showing you that the government is really after you, right? And it's the will of the Lord. As the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as the rivers of water, he turneth it wheresoever he will. Esau is just the whipping stick of the Heavenly Father. Right? You're gonna see him come down. You're also gonna see these spirits and these animals get roused up. And once these animals get roused up, that's gonna be the end all be all. For America, because that's gonna be a different time. Right now, the Lord got animals kind of chill. And during the C-19, when people weren't out here, you saw, animals starting to come out to the cities. Because it was safe. Because these cars, they're animals can't come out here with all these mass production of cars out here. They'll get slaughtered.
Yeah. And to vouch for the animals coming out. It was 2020. It was 2020 when the world was on lockdown. I lived in a ghetto, and I came outside one morning and I seen a big ass turkey just walking down the street. And I lived in the ghetto, and I never seen the turkey in person. And that day in the streets until that day, and I was like, what? I'm looking around like, is this? I even recorded it. Like, yo, is this a motherfucking turkey I'm seeing? Just strolling down the street, a big ass wild turkey.
Well, I Am Legend showed you that. You know?
Yeah, with the deer and
when the
lion.
city shut down, yeah.
Yeah, so you know when they get quiet and stuff ain't moving, I usually move. Animals don't start coming out of their habitat, coming out of the woodworks. I got a precept with the brother at this.
Just a quick side note, real quick, before you read that. I don't know if brothers heard about it, but a couple of monkeys, I think, got loose from the zoo in Asheboro, and there was some people don't leave it alone. Don't try to capture it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And they might have been experimented on with like some kind of virus or disease or something, right? Yeah.
You know they got a polar bear up there.
Yeah.
You know, polar bears, they hunt anything. So,
Yeah.
You know,
especially they say humans too. Yeah.
So they're gonna be able to get out. Really, they have to do something to those animals to keep them tamed like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got certain medicines that they put in the food. Oh, this is for the animals' good, but it makes them drowsy because they're not supposed to take human medicine. So they really don't know what it does to them. Yep. It's weakening them.
All the animals are docile, man. You go to the zoo, you know, new animals will be wild. They're wild animals for a reason, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Not meant to be domesticated.
Exactly.
You know? Not meant to be pets in this time anyway. This is Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 21. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, how much more when I send my four-sword judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword, and the famine, and the noisome beast.
Yeah, so in Jerusalem, the modern day Jerusalem is a people, force, a place. Mm-hmm. You know, this is Jerusalem. You know, you're witnessing, right, Jerusalem being raised up, but majority of our people, you know, they reject their heritage, you know, and therefore the Most High is going to send a great wrath, a time of Jacob's trouble upon them, right? He's going to send a sword. So people, he's going to send the troops against you. Seeing that happen in D.C., you know, and it will happen in Chicago, you know, cities like New York. And they know where Jake is. Jake is heavily, that's why, really, Jake is heavily concentrated in some of these major cities. Memphis.
They're not sending them out there to the suburbs.
No, they know exactly where Jake is. Where, it's a line. It's all set up.
Yeah, your mama's on Section 8. We know where you live at, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Area of the city where Jake is. MLK. You know, so even people in the world can tell you MLK is where all. If you go to any city in America, go to MLK. Yeah. In Memphis, they got Elvis Presley Boulevard. You know, that's the worst street in Memphis. Potholes everywhere. You know, it's a whole. Yeah, they must have known he was a Jake.
Right.
Yeah, they just let that place get run down. But Jake is heavily concentrated in these areas.
That huge ass fucking bird again. Damn. It's on top of that railing up there. That black railing. Damn, that bird is huge, bro.
Yep.
Up, Zay. Up.
And the pestilence to cut off from it man and beast.
Yeah, different pestilence. And there's going to be a major, brother Ezekiel 7:14, there's going to be a major pestilence here in the city whenever there's carcasses laid down. You know, when there's bodies that are just in the street, when they're going to start to rot and decay, nobody's going to pick them up. So that's going to cause, you know, different pestilence, even in that sense, in the city.
Yeah. Yep.
There's some garbage not being picked up because the garbage man and the garbage trucks ain't gonna be coming around to take the dumpsters or or the garbage.
You remember what happened? It was happening in Philly,
Yeah,
like
Philly,
a month ago.
And that was a short period of time. Rats.
Yo, it was like trash
Sticks.
up there. He owned this.
You see what happens in Los Angeles? I mean, in California, in the Bay Area. I believe that's what, Southern California, the Bay, or is that Northern California?
Not sure.
But you see what happens in the Bay. They have people that literally crap all over the sidewalks.
Yeah.
You know, literally when you go outside, you know, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in New York City. And what do you think's gonna happen? Because they have a sanitation crew come and clean everything up.
Oh, hey, look, that falls upon the government shutdown. Have they resolved that yet? Because they're talking about October 1st. Yo, the left and the right don't come together, you know?
Yeah, they want to do. They're trying to get. Trump is trying. You know, he's trying to do something, but he's trying to do mass layoffs.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what comes with it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then
They
have an agenda.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's not like
yeah.
it's a plan.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna shut down and you know.
Well, they have.
Go ahead. And that's the thing when things not just happening overnight. We warning you and telling you it's gradualism. It's little by little, steps by steps, and they letting us know what is through the spirit and what's going on. They letting us know what's getting ready to happen, because it's warning signs, it's birth pains. Just like with this digital ID that just became mandatory over in the UK. They're not just gonna come kick the door in, hey nigga, the chip made mandatory now. No, it's gonna be steps. All right, you gotta. Hey, if you want to comply, you want to get a job here, you need a digital ID. You want to get a driver's license here, you need a digital ID. You want to get insurance or child care, you're gonna need a digital ID. This is the system, and this is a simple system. And if you can't comply, you don't want to comply. You don't want to be a functioning member in the society, and then this is gonna lead up and get to the chip.
Read that, bro.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, and verse 14. It says, "They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle."
Yeah, this is a spiritual battle, and we're blowing the trumpet to get you, you know, to rouse up your mind, to let you know, hey, you realize what time we're in. You know, 'cause we're not in the time of peace and safety. They show you during the C-19, people were making comments on the internet. We're getting thrown into jail, you know, for miscommunication, misinformation. You know, a sense of this information that you put out is harming, you know, and it's a threat, and therefore here goes a fine, or you know, we gotta take you in. You know, it was happening. You had people being quarantined. You know, they had quarantine camps, you know, during that time. You know, where people were, they built makeshift houses,
right,
and say, hey, this is your quarantine camp, you know, social distancing, right? And they seen how far they can take it. And people didn't rouse up, people didn't stand up for their neighbor. They were in fear, say, oh no, don't just stay away from me.
Yep.
You know? Sorry, Sally.
Yep.
You know?
These motherfuckers was washing their dishes, like their groceries when they got home. Remember that?
I saw a video of it in Dub when she was cooking her ground beef.
Yeah.
She put Dawn dish soap and washed it.
I got something real quick.
Yeah.
This Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Yeah, to everything there's a season. There's a seasonality. You know, and you know, since Trump came into office, you know, we're in that, you can feel it in the air, we're in that spirit of Operation Warp Speed all over again.
Yep.
You know, like, you know, a PSYOP could come, you know, and shut the world down again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you seen, you know, with this Steve Kirk thing, you know, a lot of psychological warfare is going on.
Yep.
We don't really know how much is really real, what's real, what's not. But we know what comes after their agenda, order out of chaos.
Damn.
This digital ID, you know, in the UK, it's because what they're saying, because of the migrants. You know, because since and they literally said it's not us. it's the law-abiding citizens that want some type of law and order. Well, this is our solution. You know, if you don't got nothing to hide, come get your card. You know, your worker's card.
Right. It's like one more.
Yeah, because
go ahead.
basically here you have the birth certificate.
Yeah.
No, the Social Security card.
You have both.
Yeah. But when you go to work, what do you have to do? You have to bring your Social Security card and your ID.
Yep.
So they already have that here in America.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To be 100, they already have that. It's just, you know, smaller businesses are allowing illegals to work under them. You know, and get paid under the table and things like that.
Yep.
You got it.
Ecclesiastes 3:8 to the point. It says a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
Yeah, we're coming to a time of war, a time of, you know, hate. You know, and you're seeing that love of many waxing cold. You know, everyone is in that spirit.
Can I get something? You just said that. Just came across. It says dad allegedly threw daughter into alligator-infested river because he didn't want her.
He didn't want her. You know, probably a spitting image of his mother, of her mother.
And that's crazy because I've been seeing more and more stories similar to that of people unaliving and deleting their children
at the pool.
When
she drowned her kids. That chick. Yeah.
Like you got people drowning their kids. People running their kids over, people throwing their kid out the car, mothers abandoning their babies because they want to go live their best ratchet life.
Hey, look now, how much like the video like last week, bro was doing a video on this guy that had the dream. Women was leaving their kids for a man. How much more in these times, like what we're coming into? That's gonna happen, man.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hey, sweetie. You know, don't leave this room. It's dangerous outside. And then she leave the whole house.
Yeah, she leave the whole house. If they're leaving for vacations now to get up with a dude, how much more would all hell break loose?
Yeah, right. And some time back, I think it was either earlier this year or last year, a woman left her baby in the crib and went to like Puerto Rico or some shit like that. Yep. You remember that?
Yep.
For weeks and came back, the baby then starved to death and dehydrated and covered in feces and etc. She cleaned the baby up and took the baby to the hospital like she ain't know what was wrong. You just left the baby for dead while you went on vacation for weeks. Like what? That's horrible. You know?
It's a report that nigga missing.
Right. But people doing this to their own. That your children is an extension of you, so you basically doing that to yourself. When you do that to your baby, if you doing that to your baby, you really don't give a fuck about nobody. Straight up.
I got another article. It says son arrested, elderly mother dies after discovery of maggot-infested home in Florida.
See?
So he left his elderly mom home. Maggots in her body.
See? Left his mom unattended, needed help. She died. Maggots start eating the body.
And she probably had trash everywhere in that goddamn home.
Probably had sores too.
Yeah, sores.
Yeah.
From sitting.
Yeah.
I seen another story. I think it was an Edomite woman. They left this woman on the couch so long, she like They said she melted. She melted into the couch from the sores and not being able to move or take care of herself. People was doing this to their loved ones. So when the time of Jacob's trouble come and the pressure really get applied and people ain't eating, it's gonna be real. It's gonna be real cutthroat.
Yep.
People gonna be saying F their kids, F their mama.
You like your daddy anyway. I can't stand him.
F everybody. You know, it's all gonna be for self in that time. You know, but through the Spirit, you know, Lord's willing, we are the elect. We gonna be taken care of. We gonna be fed. We gonna eat. We gonna drink, and us and our families is gonna be protected.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, and verse 14. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready. but none go to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof.
And we're warning you about all these things before they spring forth. We tell you of them. You know, we've been telling you about in Ezekiel 12 and 21.
Beautiful.
We've been telling you about, you know, this plan of full world dominance. You know, we've been telling you about the plan to bring the sword. You know, that Esau Edom has, you know, to get full control of the planet Earth. Right? And we're telling you the digital ID over there in the UK, over there in live in London, is really only just one step closer. You know, it's just one step closer of normalizing this thing.
Right.
You know, now with the Genius, remember what happened earlier? The Genius Act this year. You have the Genius Act with pagan, where companies are now allowed to create stable coins, you know, digital currency backed up by the U.S. dollar. You know, and that's the way the U.S. debt can the U.S. can offload their debt. You know, by to these other countries without having them to buy these treasury bonds. You know? Go back to Ezekiel 7:15.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7 and verse 15. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him.
Can brother get a second Ezra? I think it's 16 and like 18, 19.
How does it go?
He that's escaped the hunger, the sword shall destroy.
Oh, yeah.
Read that again, though.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7 and verse 15. It says, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within.
Yeah, the sword is without, and the famine and pestilence within. Right? Go ahead.
It says, he that is in the field shall die with the sword.
Yeah, he that's in the field shall die by the sword. In these more royal areas, you know, people in the royal areas are going to go crazy, stealing resources, you know, because they don't have an immediate immediate grocery store next to them, right? So they're going to go to their local farmers and steal all their goods. They're going to go to the Sally who got, you know, a year's worth of canned goods, you know, up the street. And they're going to take their goods with the sword, right? Go ahead.
It says, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him.
Yeah, and here in the city, you know, resources are going to be very scarce. There's too many mouths to feed. Yeah, it's going to happen very quick. I mean, after a hurricane, they show you how quick, you know, everything in the store is basically done. And the truckers know the storm is, they know for, you know, at least a week that storms are coming, so they know what they need to do. I think it was during the C19, I used to work next to a Costco's, and they clocked like, they said 6,000 people came in the store within the first hour.
Yep.
You know?
That's a lot of people.
And that's a small population of the people. There's millions of people in the, you know, but only 6,000 people made it in. You know, within the first hour, and they had an orderly fashion, get in the line. They had to wait, but wait until everybody's just bombarding them stores. They're going to destroy most of the resources, and that's why you're going to have a lot of these, you know, these rednecks, these militia groups. You know, they're going to just take over the Walmarts. They're just going to post up outside, say, y'all can't come in here. You know, that's the first places they're going to go. Right? In different pestilence, we spoke about, you know, when these bodies are out here, feces everywhere, garbage, you know?
And it won't take long. Let a month go by without nobody picking up the garbage. It'd be crazy out here. It'd be filthy.
Yeah, I mean, you see what happened in these BLM riots. You know, a whole grocery store destroyed overnight. And these niggas gotta go buy groceries in the morning and go back to work.
That's why, you know, I'm starting to think now those people don't live in these areas. You know, when they have those and they're destroying their own neighborhoods, they got to be people who, you know, rent they rent people to do stuff like that.
Yeah, they hire.
Yeah.
These bricks.
Yeah, because Jake's stupid, but damn, Jake, you that stupid? You know?
Yeah, I mean, Jake just take all the, Jake after shoes. Jake ain't at the grocery
Yeah.
store.
Hey, in Buffalo, I seen stores that still closed down from when people was tearing shit up. Family Dollars, Jake like to go for the little bullshit petty store.
Come on, that grocery store shooting?
Yeah, grocery store.
Yeah.
They
Like,
talking about
that Tops is actually open though. They
Oh,
open
okay,
that back up.
Okay.
But the stores that Jake tore up when they was like, rioting and protesting and stuff, a lot of them stores are still shut down. So, and it was in so-called black communities. So now instead of just walking around the corner to the store, now you got to travel a little bit further to go purchase something.
Yeah.
That was right around the corner in your area. Jake tearing up the grocery stores, and like you said, you tearing something up tonight, but you got to go shopping in the morning. You ain't thinking.
Go ahead, bro.
It's the book of Ezekiel 7 and verse 16. It says, it's the book of Ezekiel 7 and verse 15.
Let me get that second verse 16.
The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him.
That's right. So that's what we are. That's what we're out here prophesying about, right? Get a second Ezra.
18,
Verse 22.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and 22, and it reads, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine."
Yeah, many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. When these trucks stop, and right now we're basically living. We're in the recession right now. They were going into, if it wasn't because the AI boom, if it wasn't, and this was like a 2008, housing.
Yep.
Because we were alive during 2008, right? Gas prices were all-time high.
Yep.
Groceries were high. You were able to get by, but you weren't able to do anything extra, right? And we're basically living in that time all over again. Inflation is at an all-time high. Then yeah, it comes in as expected, but it's still at a new all-time high, right? They can't get inflation under control, right? It's out of control, really, and they don't want to get it under control, right? They want to keep squeezing the people, because if you had deflation, that means the rich will lose a lot of their riches and lose them very fast, and that'll bring the price of everything down. But they want inflation to where only you got the haves and the have-nots.
That's it.
That's the world we're coming into. Revelation 13 and 16 calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bonds. Right? So that rich and poor dynamic, the middle class being wiped out, because the middle class can keep a city going. You had enough businesses going on. You had them sourcing their own local food, right? They can keep a city going. You don't need the government to bring in, meat from a different country. No, that's just the deals they have going on. Read again, huh?
2nd Ezra 16 and 22. "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy."
And the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. The sword is going to destroy the others that escape the hunger. So if you're prepping, or someone knows that you got some type of resources, and right now they got rich. They're buying water. They got warehouses, and there's barrels of water going to these warehouses, because they're trying to get. They know what the water is going to be the new gold in that time. And if you don't know someone, you're going to be asked out. You see, during these purge movies, you have you have people who hire security in those movies. They hire professional gunsmen,
Yep.
you know, to protect them. You know, so you seen it. And wait, that's the thing. If you got $1 billion, you can hire a small military. You know, that's not a problem. A little small malicious group to protect you and what you got. You know?
Which ultimately the man of the Lord. Isaiah 32 comes to mind. You know?
Oh yeah, the hedge.
Yeah. From the wind.
Yeah, we can get that Isaiah 32.
I had something too.
Bring it up.
It's the 2 Kings. I'm gonna get straight to the point because this is part of a famine, right? And this is going to befall our people again. Now, the scripture says there's no new thing up under the sun. It says, 2 Kings 6:24, and it came to pass after this that Benhadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria, and there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged it until the ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the 4 part of a calf's dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. And as the king of Israel was passing upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help, my lord, O king. So,
yeah, so you had that was basically hyperinflation.
right.
You know, basically your buying power is shot. In the sense of you're over here buying an ass's dung. You know, you're buying things that you would have never thought that your money would buy. You would buy.
Right.
There was a heavy famine going in the land, so people are bartering. You know, I got this. You know, you want to eat.
Yep.
And you're gonna have people eating possums and
Yep.
all types of unclean animals in that time to survive. So people are gonna survive for a little bit.
They eating that shit now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jake eating possums and raccoons and squirrels. They eating that now.
Yeah.
They eating all types of madness now. And the grocery store is still open.
Yeah.
So imagine when it ain't no grocery store. That's gonna be nothing. They ain't gonna be no dogs, ain't gonna be no cats. The squirrels and the raccoons and the possums and the skunks, they eating all of that. And that's gonna go quick. And then once those animals peep game and realize they on the menu and they get missing and run into hiding, humans is next. Because it ain't gonna take, I forgot the study, but exactly how long, but the study said it won't take long before people resort to cannibalism.
Oh, yeah.
It won't take long at all.
You don't know what's in this food nowadays.
Exactly.
That cheap ass ground beef with the lines in the middle of it.
You already know.
You know. You don't know what that is.
You know.
That's every part of the animal, the liver, the everything. The pink mush, you know what I mean? You know, this food they're eating now is disgusting.
Yep. We haven't ate.
Yeah, you haven't eaten real food. We've never seen a real apple.
No.
All this food is genetically modified. So your bodies are already starving of nutrients. You know, you have people who are, you have an epidemic going on in the States where people are malnutritious, but yet they're full. I forgot what they call it, the eating starving.
Yeah. And once again, we can think a devil like this, because he kicked it off. You know what I'm saying? This devil kicked it off, man.
He's like a zombie.
He like a devil, yeah. He like a vampire, yo.
Who's that again?
It's Rockefeller, J.D. Rockefeller.
Oh
Yeah, like he just finished getting on somebody's neck.
yeah, so they're gonna be crying now, just like that woman was crying for the king to help. They're
Yep.
gonna be crying for the government to help them.
Yep.
You know, keep reading on that.
Yeah, it says 2 Kings 6 and 27. And he said, if the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, do not help thee, whence shall I help thee?
Yeah, so the Lord is not on your side. What are you really gonna do in these times?
Right.
Because your enemy is gonna be feeding you with slop. You're talking about the same enemy that said you should eat sawdust. So you can actually eat. We can actually create a meal with 40% sawdust to solve world hunger.
Hey, the Subway rolls. Remember the Subway bread was made with cardboard?
Yeah, rubber.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yep. they justify it. Well, we're trying to work. You know, it's only $5. You know, it's affordable for the poor.
Oh boy, but they not eating it.
They not eating that. Yeah, Dr. Oz, he said he's not having his kids sick of C19.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these different vaccinations. And I wonder what their agenda is, because now they're saying Tylenol.
Damn, Jake.
You know, causes.
Yeah.
They're saying Tylenol causes, you know,
Yeah.
defects.
Yeah.
Birth defects.
Yep.
You know, yeah, that's like, you know, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it gotta be regulated. AI is bad, but as long as Elon got control of it, he's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It says, out of the barn floor or out of the wine press, and the king said unto her, what aileth thee?
Yeah, the wine. You had a wine. You know, you had a winery.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down and get you a bottle.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down and get you a bottle. We got all types of wine stored underground.
Yeah.
You know, we got a bunch of food stored up.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
Got some cured meats hanging up.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
didn't have any of that. They didn't have any of that because it was a famine.
Exactly.
So you ain't gonna be able to go to your local governor for help. They're gonna have guys like Trump. I'm sorry, Bill Gates, the gates of hell.
Right.
You know that. Why do you think he has all this farmland? Problem, action,
Solution.
You have this company called, I believe, it's called Aurora, where they have these autonomous trucks coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't worry, we're gonna send a government agent, you know,
Right.
with these trucks and, you know, mass roll out these food to help out the poor.
And you know, I'm trying to speak in code, but look what's happening over there with Ishmael, where they're delivering the food, and yeah, you know.
Yeah, I saw this. You know, they had you had that one movie. It was based off the C19. It was Contagious. Yeah, it's called Contagious.
Okay.
Remember they had shut down everything.
Oh yeah.
And they were giving out the rations.
Yeah.
And it was like after like the third person,
Yeah.
people raided the truck
Yeah.
like, "Hey, hand us our food."
Yeah.
They didn't even. They were like, "We're just gonna rob this truck." They went to go rob the truck, and there was no food up there.
Right. And look, and that comes to Bond 6:15, where it says they're not going to regard their kings or princes in the course of action, so stand in their power. You know?
And people lack patience now. People be in a McDonald's line
Spirit, yeah.
or chicken Popeyes line and fuck around and shoot somebody.
Yep.
When you had that happen, that was the literal thing. The Popeyes chicken,
Yeah.
Popeyes chicken.
Yeah.
You ate that, you was going off.
Yo.
I'm gonna say if you tried that burger,
Yeah, I ain't never eat that shit, bro.
I ain't,
I ain't gonna hold you. I had a chicken sandwich. I'm guilty.
Hey, nah, bro.
But I didn't go during that time.
Yeah.
But
That Lord still got you with us.
yeah.
everybody was telling me how they were getting sick from eating that.
Yeah.
Like after the first time, they was like, "Man, this thing's good," but when they went back a second time to eat it,
Yeah.
they were sick.
Yeah.
It sold out, and they were the whole skit on it. People were fighting, rioting over it.
Getting stabbed up. One dude ran into the store with his car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's why it's a grocery store open down the street. Arby's and McDonald's right next door to that spot. So they surrounded by food, but yet they killing and acting like that due to impatience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You have different like classes of food. You ever go to a restaurant, a store that'll get food, and the niggas in the kitchen, the food is bad quality. You know, it's just true.
Or you go to a high-end restaurant and some high grade and a little piece of high grade meat costs a lot. So yeah, you go to a high end restaurant where they say the food is quality and fresh and organic. It costs a lot more. You know that cut of meat, because that meat that sometimes the meat that they serve in some of them rich restaurants, it ain't the same meat you get from your Tops or your Walmart or your Aldi's or whatever store you go to.
No, it's a little better quality. You know?
And they tax you for it too.
Yeah, but all that, you know, is gonna be done away with.
Yep.
You know, any more on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Finish it out. It says, and the king said to her, verse 28, 2 Kings 6:28, and said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hid her son. And it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed upon the wall. And the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so, you know, cannibalism, it happened then and it's going to happen now. That's how we know cannibalism is going to come back.
Right.
Because it happened then.
Yep.
You know? And if you don't got Yahweh Shema Shah on your side, you're going to be through out here. You know, because they think they're in a good case where they can go out to eat to the restaurant after,
Yep.
You know, they can go any restaurant and eat.
Yep.
You know, they might have, you know, we got family members that got some money.
Yeah.
And they still living their best life, and they're not there.
Yeah.
They don't see what's really going on. Just because money's coming in, it's distracting them.
And a lot of it is women, man. Yeah, women like, I can't afford groceries. What? You it's just you. You can't afford groceries?
No, literally.
What the hell's going on in your brain? You know? A mouse chasing cheese on a freaking wheel? What's going on up there?
TikTok shops.
Yeah.
You know? They be having a bunch of shit. I be like, yo, a bunch of, I send the post to friends, a bunch of, another thing you use for a week and never use again.
Never use again.
Yeah, man. That is a board where people stand on there to help them lose weight.
Yeah.
It was shake.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, they don't go on the goddamn walk. And you got women, well, it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. I was like, man, you need a diet.
Yeah.
You need to change your diet. You need to go to juice cleanse. You need to go walking every single day.
Yeah.
People just that lazy. They try to find.
Like the biohacking. You know, they try to find a hack.
Yeah. They try to find the hack.
You got something?
Yeah, I got that Tobit 4 and 13.
Bring it out there, bro.
Yep. It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse 13. It says,
Here we go.
Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want.
When they walk by, move your stuff, bro, because they're going to mess around and kick it.
For lewdness is the mother of famine. Yeah, you just, cause you know, my brother's been going into the famine of food, which a famine goes into a lack of something, you know, a lack of resource. But brother's beautifully going into, all right, because it's gonna be a lack of food soon, you know. These storehouses gonna be empty, and what these people gonna resort to, all right? Cannibalism, you know. People gonna resort to eating each other, you know.
What's that? 2 Ezra 6th chapter. Suddenly shall the sown places.
22, verse 22.
Yeah, I got a definition of lewdness. It says the quality or state of being characterized by or intended to excess crude sexual desire. It says a scarcity. It says it's basically wickedness. So a large amount of wickedness, right? It says lewdness is a mother of famine, right? So after these, this way of life, it gives birth to a famine.
Yep.
It gives birth to the Heavenly Father bringing plagues, upon, a society.
Hey, you said with sexual
Immorality.
Sexual immorality and basically extreme sexual desire. This society we live in is a sexual.
It's sex driven.
Yeah, it's sex driven.
Yeah, sex sells.
Yeah, sex sells, and guess what? It's a pestilence with that.
Oh yeah.
Virus and disease is at an all-time high from sex.
What they call it? Oh yeah.
STIs,
Yeah.
STDs,
Yeah.
HIV.
But that's being normalized because they say, "Oh, I just go get a pill, get a shot."
Oh yeah.
You know?
Hims.
Well, I got some penicillin.
Yeah.
I believe Hims and Hers has a pill for that.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like now it's being normal. You got people out here with HIV and all types of viruses and diseases out here still in the dating pool, like they not carrying some deadly shit.
Hey, Dave Chappelle did a skit on that one time. He was like, because he was the president, and he was like, it was a press conference, like it was like the end of the world, and he said, "Oh yeah, we got the cure for, for H, and he threw the bottle at the dude and say, "Have a fun night." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like these pestilence are out here, and Drake ain't got no shame.
Yeah.
And it's being normalized. It's
Exactly.
Like, it's man, this world is, man, it's crazy out here.
Yeah, you gotta be careful out here. You remember what happened with the C-19? You was attracting it if you had sex with a woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had the potion injection, what they call it, shedding. I think it was shedding or something like that. You laid with somebody shortly after they got it.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it.
Yeah, it was, man, it's a lot of weird shit going on, man.
Yeah. But get that Ezekiel 12.
It's the Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 21. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision faileth?
And that's the mindset our people are in. That's why you got Antoine Daniels. That's that nigga's name? Yeah, Anton. The nigga with the big ass glasses that if he's in Atlanta in the wrong part of the city at the wrong part of the town, he might get hit on.
Oh, now leaving that bird.
Which guys like this, Jake got a little bit of money. And they all puffed up and proud, out of shape.
Yep.
Like give a brother that money.
Right.
It's still going to be a test of this money has spirits on it. And everything that money can buy you in this society is a temptation. People who are depraved, that's why kings are not born. They're made. Kings are made. We're coming into a kingship.
That's right.
We're coming into what it means to have resources, right? And Jake is still talking junk while you got the men of the Lord and the believers of Yahweh Shema Shai striving to enter in at the straight gate.
Yep.
The path of difficulty, and that's the path that's going to lead to the kingdom of heaven. And people don't want to believe it. They want to believe that our works is for naught. But what about the rapture that just happened?
Right.
Nobody said the rapture came, but I got left behind.
Where you at, vocab? Where you at? We need answers.
Yeah, maybe how you know the rapture didn't come?
All right.
Your ass just got left. You ain't that important.
Right.
God damn. Nobody said that.
Right.
Everybody just said, hey, it ain't happened.
Yeah, maybe you ain't right.
Yeah.
We just got left.
Right, you got left.
Yeah. Maybe only a couple,
Right.
Like, damn. Everybody that proud, they that sure that they was going to get delivered, selling their cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big joke. And you think, like, that's how you know idiocracy is everywhere. And that's all a skit about that movie, Idiocracy. I watched that movie recently. Yeah, watch that movie. And they were talking about how they wanted to pick a low-budget shoe in that movie, Crocs.
Right.
So they picked the shoe because the director thought, like, these shoes would never be normalized. Crocs? Why would anyone wear a Croc?
Right.
But Crocs,
skyrocket.
They skyrocketed. They everywhere.
Yep.
So that shows you that people are really on that low mental level.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these people when, you start to feel bad for them, but then you see how wicked they still are and how
Yep.
they justify their wickedness, and you
Yep.
just want to kick them off the mountain.
Yeah, they just justify through emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's how he saw it. Like the scripture says in Sirach 10, as the king is, so are the people. If you paraphrase it,
Yeah.
the ruler of a city.
Hey, and speaking of idiocracy, everybody was drinking
Energy drink?
it was like an energy drink or some kind of something gay, like a Gatorade or Powerade or whatever. There was water in the plants with it. Wasn't
Damn.
nobody drinking water. Wasn't nobody using water except for the toilet. And look at now. Now they say, oh, you got to drink electrolytes. You need Powerade. You need Gatorade. You can't just drink just water.
Yeah, body armors.
You know, you need body armors. You know, and shit, that's one of the things that was in the movie. Everybody started moving away from water and start going towards electrolytes.
Yeah, you had the Hulk Hogan at the beginning of the Trump's inauguration time when he was trying to be elected. Remember, he did the campaign. The Hulk Hogan did the campaign. That was basically the president idiocracy.
Yeah.
You know, so the decay of this society is here. The Babylon the Great.
Yep.
You know, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let every man go into his own country.
Yep.
You know, so this place is done.
Verse 22, Son of man, what is that proverb that you have in the land of Israel saying? The days are prolonged and every vision faileth. Tell them therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb of Israel.
That's right. You have the Genius Act. You know, you have the Gideon Project. Right? And now in the UK, you have this digital ID. And even here in America,
Yep.
you know, brothers can look it up on their phone. There's certain states that allow a digital ID. Apple, you know, has it to where you can upload your ID, you know, and your passport on your phone.
Yep.
North Carolina.
Called the real ID.
Yeah, with the real ID, that's so you can travel and to
Yeah.
get into government facilities.
Yeah.
But really, they have literally a digital ID, just like you got the Apple Wallet
Yep.
and Google Wallet. That's how you can do it with your ID now. You no longer have to keep it because really, people are so dumb that they lose things very easily, but they never lose their phone. That's all this one woman. She flipped her car over. I think she was drunk. She was like, "I need my phone. I need my phone. I need my phone." Her car flipped over. She was trying to get into her car with the phone. You know, she saw it on the window.
Yeah, because that's their life. You want to know somebody? Take their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Go through their phone.
Exactly.
You know?
Shit, man. People can't live without their phone.
Yeah.
They check it every 10 minutes.
Yep. I can't wait till the Lord get rid of that shit.
You know?
I can't wait.
But I was leaving my phone in the car for a period. Now when I get home, I just turn it off.
Yeah.
You know, get home from work, turn the phone off.
And these teenagers, the younger generation is even worse with the phones.
I had a coworker tell me, I don't know what life is like without social media.
Yeah.
I was born into this age. This is all I know.
You remember you used to have the older generation looking down on the younger generation? Now everybody hooked.
Yep. Yeah, you got grandma doing twerk videos.
Yeah, you got
You know?
your abuela
Yep.
all day playing
Yep.
games.
Yep.
From the old to the young, they're hooked.
Hooked.
You had the movie The Terminator Genesis. When they went into the future, they went back to the future, right? They went to the hospital. There was a hospital scene, and you know, in the movie, they're like, "What's going on here?" They were like, "Skynet is already activated." Like it was a countdown, but they were in the hospital, so everybody's looking at screens, you know, and there was a countdown to Skynet. They was like, "Damn, we can't stop Skynet because everyone's already plugged in." And you know, you didn't know what they were talking about. You're like, what are they talking about? Everyone was just using technology. Everybody was already plugged in with technology.
Right.
But keep it on that.
But said to them, the days are at hand. but it's like the days are prolonged and every vision faileth. Tell them therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel. But say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision.
Yeah, you're seeing the effects of hyperinflation. You're feeling the effects of the beginning of sorrows, the love of many waxing cold. Right, you're feeling these effects of scarcity. I saw you have there shall be no work for Egypt that the head nor tail shall do. Right, you're seeing these effects from government layoffs, right, to tech jobs laying off and hiring workers, engineers from overseas, right, for cheaper pay. Them cutting back on expenses because you don't gotta have the cafeteria pimped out of this facility, and feed all these workers and have all these benefits for someone overseas. Because this society is breaking down. You're feeling these effects. You used to be able to go to one grocery store and buy everything that you needed. Now you gotta go to multiple grocery stores. This grocery store got the better fruit. This grocery store here got the meat that you need. Oh, this grocery store got this product that you like. You gotta go to multiple stores. So things are very scarce. I've been using Carrabs. So things are very scarce.
And not only are things very scarce, we see that a famine is coming in hard times, but also when you're paying attention to other countries, France is preparing its hospitals to treat hundreds of wounded soldiers a day for time of war. Germany is preparing its hospitals to treat at least 1,000 wounded troops a day. France and Europe sending out survival guides to its citizens on how to make a survival kit. So you got the stage is set and the signs are signing. If you're watching and paying attention,
only the American people don't realize how low their kingdom is.
Bread and circus.
Yeah, because you have people who come and visit America, 10 years later, and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't any better. This is actually worse than my city.
Yep.
Why would I come and visit here? People, tourists that are actually coming to America, it's actually decreasing.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, now people want to leave America to go on vacation. Yeah. People used to have hot spots. Like Austin, Texas used to be a hot spot. People want to go and visit, but people destroyed those lakes they had over there with pollution, beer cans all in the water. So Americans, like you had the movie The Matrix, are the virus of the planet Earth. The Edomite man is the virus of the planet Earth. He just destroys everything. Yep. The world is his trash, and he just throws trash everywhere. No matter how rich your neighborhood is, you can live in drive through a nice neighborhood. They'll have shit on the sidewalk. Trash. They gotta send, they gotta send cleaners to go clean up after those Edomites. They're dirty. You have anything you want to bring out real quick?
Verse 24, for there shall be no more any vain vision, nor flattering divination within the house of Israel.
Yeah, something flattering. Or, you're going to have a rapture come because things are so bad and rapture you up. I was looking for a video. What happened to that guy, that pastor?
Exactly.
He didn't make a part 2 video.
They should took that guy out of here.
They really should have.
You know what I'm saying?
Should have locked him up in jail.
Exactly.
But he's in Africa.
Somewhere hiding.
Yeah. In a hut somewhere.
It's just like, wait a minute, your pastor, people really thought that was gonna come. And you know why? People learn really from the Bible? Hollywood movies. That's where people get the information about the Bible. They literally, there was a Hollywood movie, I don't remember the name of it, where there was literally a rapture. The goddamn Antichrist came.
Right.
And there's a commentary, and he was like, I guess one day Like, you wonder why everything is so bad. One day the rapture came, and
Right.
millions of people left. You know, and now you have the Antichrist rule in the White House down here waiting for the ends,
Right.
living life. It is horrible. And people believe stuff like that because they said it was in the Bible, and, you know, people really don't read the scriptures.
Yeah, because if they read the scripture says, no man knoweth.
Right.
The angels don't know.
Right.
Yahweh Shai don't know. But yet, it was a date.
Right.
It was a date and time on when the rapture was coming.
Because these people are so big on dreams, right? I got a quick precept.
Bring it up.
This Ecclesiastes 34:1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools. Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth a shadow and followeth after the wind.
Today's my last day.
Yeah.
Today's my last day. Man, that clip with that guy said he's never been late to his job in 30 years, 20 years. I sold my truck.
Through.
And I started laughing when he told the story. When he was telling the story to his boss, he started laughing. And he said, you know what my boss did to me? He started laughing at me. I was started laughing too. I did start laughing.
Right.
The story sounds so like, are you serious, dude?
Right.
Why did you sell your truck? Why didn't you just like leave it out there with the keys and the addiction?
Because I have faith. I have faith. You know.
You had a woman make a clip. I was looking. They didn't really have. I'm surprised they didn't have too many like clips. Like, it wasn't trending like a.
Because you're a fool if you do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I seen the video. They was all standing out. Well, this was in Africa. So
Yeah.
It was like Guyana.
They was all standing in the woods,
They
looking
was
up at the
screaming.
sky and shit.
You had the guy on the day. He said, "Hey, it was." Man, it was like, it just turned 12:03 in Jerusalem.
All right.
It's like, yeah, man, it just turned 12:03, so it's morning time in Jerusalem.
Right.
It's about 4 o'clock here, so I'm still hopeful.
Yeah. I'm still hopeful.
I'm still hopeful. You had like 6 people in this live stream.
Right.
It was popular because it was so crazy, so it came out,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't like,
Right.
everybody, Christians at my job weren't doing it.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it was crazy enough to hit the mainstream media.
Right. You know, the funny thing about it is nothing wrong with dreams in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
as long as they're spiritual dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
They
and that
gotta link up the scriptures.
yeah. And then this was not even like everyone, all the brothers been saying. This is not even scriptural.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say, "No man knoweth the hour." Not even Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it's like if these are true Christians, true followers of the Anointed. You know, the scripture said we ought to obey the Most High rather than man.
Mhm.
Fuck your dream. What does scripture say?
Yeah, read it again. That's a good one.
Yeah, this is Ecclesiastes 34:1. It says, understanding the hopes of man void of understanding. He was void of understanding.
Yeah, they all were. What's going to happen on the 25th when you're still here?
Right.
Joke's on you, man. I'm not going to be here.
Right.
I'm not going to be on social media. And, a lot of people are it's kind of cool to mock them. How these Christians, you have people mocking them because they're saying, like, your God's not real.
Right.
But it's just the truth, though. Yeah, no, I know that. It's cruel, but hey, man, yeah, you play dumb games, you get dumb prizes.
Right.
Stupid game.
Stupid prizes.
Yeah, it's just like, what are y'all talking about? You're void of understanding, and we're here to give you the understanding, so we really don't feel sorry for you.
Right.
Those mockers and scoffers who don't even believe in the scripture, they're going to be judged at the end of the day.
Yep.
Because a lot of people don't believe in the Bible. A lot of people are joking about the Bible now. So they just discredit the scriptures even more. That's why the average person don't need to dictate what the scriptures say. You got to leave that to the prophets.
Right.
That's why the Lord said no more flattering and vain divination.
Yep.
Yeah, bro.
And the scripture also said, the Lord sent forth the apostles last.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
As it was a spectacle.
Yep.
So it's a show, and they want us to be devoured at the end of the day.
Yep. It said, Ecclesiastes 34:1, the hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools.
Yeah, dreams lift up fools. You know, God came to me in the dream. You know, and because he has an accent, you think he's smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The elder Menachem Zakba, he did a video of a woman. She said those Hebrew Israelites, they was right. Yeah, they was right. We might the delivery might have been a little rough, but we was right. You know, and a lot of people, they know we right. They just don't like the delivery. We might seem rough. We might seem rude. You know, but what we speaking is right, and it's all coming to pass.
Yeah, like other parts of Torah like to say, and it's a beautiful analogy. If the house is on fucking fire, are you gonna be like, hey, house on fire? You better get the fuck, yo, the house on fire.
Yo, the fucking house, everybody get the fuck out.
Exactly.
Yeah, like somebody, your neighbor might see the fire. He gonna come banging on the
Yeah,
door.
exactly.
You gonna come banging on the door. You ain't gonna be like, hey, what you doing, man?
Right.
Your house is on fire.
Right.
And people run out of there.
If somebody tell you, hey, yo, get the F out the street, you about to get hit by a car. What you gonna stand there? Cause
Right.
no, you yelling at me. You ain't gotta say it like that.
Boom.
Bam, now you just got smacked by a car.
Right.
Because you wanna be in your feelings.
It says, whosoever, verse 2, Sirach 34:2. You good? It says, whoso regard dreams is like him that catcheth a shadow and follow after the wind.
You can't catch your shadow.
Exactly.
You look like a crazy person running after your shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You look like you're trying to catch the wind. You're like, what is that guy doing? He looks bugged out.
Right.
You know, that's the same thing as someone who's trying to follow after a dream.
Right. Got 2 more verses.
Okay, brother.
Jumping down, verse 6, it says, if they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them. For dreams have deceived many, and they have failed that put their trust in them.
That's right. So dreams have deceived many. You know, and how do you know that dream wasn't sent for the Most High? Well, you got to link it with biblical prophecy. Because
That's right.
Joel, the 2nd chapter, tells you the Most High shall, you know, your young men, you know, shall
Joel
prophesy.
2.
Yeah. But, yeah, you can get it.
Okay.
Just like Joel 2 and 20.
Yeah.
Around there. Your young men shall prophesy.
I think it's 21. No? Yep, 28. It's Joel 2 and 28. Anybody? It says, and it shall come to pass afterwards, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. You know?
Hey, good dog, go get a charger from Farah.
Yep. This is Joel 2:28, and it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh.
Yeah, so in the last days, the Lord would pour out his spirit upon all flesh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and men would have dreams, and men would, you know, tell about their dreams. And we saw that recently.
Yeah.
You know, God explained how he had these 2 dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they was pretty spot on. You know, I'm a skeptic nowadays. You know, people, the Bible talks about that. You know, he might know a little bit about scripture, so that's why he was able to correlate it.
Right.
But you know, you still nobody unless you repent. At the end of the day,
That's it.
so that's really what it comes down to. You know, but brothers have different dreams and visions, and you know, we have a whole channel based off GMS dreams and testimonials.
Yeah.
I done had dreams. You know.
Okay, Martin.
Right.
I'm messing with you, bro.
I had dreams of the sky on fire,
Wow.
dark.
Yeah, I've had dreams like that.
Yeah, you know, had dreams of chaos and like a damn near like a zombie 28 days situation. A lot of brothers had dreams like that.
Like the Kingsmen, when they put that switch.
Yeah, you know, like all types of dreams, you know.
Yeah, that's what's coming.
That's prophetic.
Yeah, it's prophetic.
You know?
We can link it up with the scriptures. We can read out the Holy Scriptures.
Exactly.
And say, oh yeah, this is gonna happen.
Yeah, we're not gonna read. The Lord gave this vision to this Hamite. We might be a Jake, given these dates. You know what I'm saying?
Those women were Jakes.
Oh, you can tell.
They were simple as hell.
You can tell.
Them simple twins.
Yeah, you got the cord.
I think he
The cord's in the truck. Oh, we got one. No. Never mind. It works. C type.
Yeah, that's it. That works. Oh no, you got the new iPhone?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that one works.
Yeah. Is it going there?
I don't know.
It works.
Yeah, going there. Yeah.
Keep reading.
Yep. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28. All right. It says, and it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit.
Yeah, so you know, so that is prophetic for everyone to for people to have dreams and things like that.
Right.
But it has to be prophetic. Leave the charger in the case, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
This is Acts chapter 2, verse 17.
Yep.
And this shall come to pass in the last days, saith Jehovah. I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh.
Same thing that we just read in Joel. You know? The Lord says he's going to pour out his spirit upon all flesh. It could be a heathen. You know?
Yeah.
It don't have to be a Jake. You know, I did a lesson some years ago on this Edomite looking, older looking Edomite lady. And she was going into how she had this vision of people being sea-hipped. You know? And she was like, she saw this guy running and he had the sea up in his hand. She was holding her hand like this. He was like, I gotta go see the prophets. But it was too late then. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already done took it now. You know? And she was like, I noticed that was in the Bible. And she was like, well, prior to this dream shit, she was an atheist. Mm-hmm. You know, but she was like, for some reason, this dream just made me want to seek God even more.
Yep. That's right. People are going to be looking for answers.
Hey, it was Edomites that had dreams of civil war.
Yep.
And World War that brothers had shared, you know, videos of.
Yep.
You know, them seeing the Civil War in their dreams, of them seeing World War in those dreams.
Yeah, you remember the guys in Boston, the bug outs. You know, that's why it says scripture dreams lift up the hearts of fools as well, because you know you can have a prophetic dream and it can lift you up. You know, to think you're more than you are. You know, Joseph had his dream.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
And you know he didn't get lifted up.
Nope.
But imagine if he did though.
Right.
You know, it'd be a different story.
We all be through.
I know, right?
What'd you say, boy?
And not to mention, a lot of us have dreams and keep it to ourselves too.
Facts.
You know, because every time a brother have a dream, you don't run and record it or speak on it.
Right.
Sometimes you just gotta let that simmer and try to and just
process it.
Yeah, process it. Like, what the fuck did I just see? Like, what was? There were times I was like, what was that? Oh, what the fuck was that about? You know? But yeah, back to verse 17. And this will come to pass in the last days, saith Yahweh, I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions.
Even women, that don't mean they're a prophet. The Lord just gave them a vision, all right? And that vision will be given to their husband, all right? If they don't have a husband, right, to the prophets to interpret it for her, man. You know?
And that's why they do the, a lot of people, they do their dreams. The most recent dream, the guy was guessing a little bit, but people explain their dream, they know it's biblical.
Yeah.
But they didn't know it was biblical or those events would happen. It's just the Spirit told them. So, you have, I was thinking about that dream of that Latin woman, is on this side? Yeah. You have the dream about the Latin woman, and she basically saw the Lord,
Oh yeah, she was crying. What?
You got it? Yeah.
She said he was not. That's the one when she said he was not happy.
Yeah. I saw his face. Yeah. She didn't say what he looked like.
Yeah.
But
she said the look on his face was
fierce. He came back angry.
Yeah.
And we can read that. So let's get that Isaiah 19.
I swore it out.
Yeah.
And your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream. And on my servants and on my handmaidens I will pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy.
Yep. And people are prophesying.
Yep.
People are telling you, like, this is what's coming. This is what I saw in my dream, my vision.
Yep.
It was bad times. It was evil. It was pestilence. It was a time like none other, and that's what the scriptures tell us. The scriptures don't tell us at this date, this hour, the southern part of Asia is going to get delivered. On this day, because of the different time zones, it sounded so elegant and smart. And I wonder if he got money for all that stuff, leading up to the event, because recently the clip went viral.
Yep.
But that was like done months ago. Telling you about the date months later.
Yep.
He definitely more than likely
profited from it during that time. Yeah. Where's he at now though? Where's his clip?
Right.
I was looking for him.
He's vanished. It's Revelation 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so among.
Yeah, so when Yahushua comes back, he ain't gonna do some secret rapture. No, every eye is gonna see him. Everyone is gonna see Yahushua and the elect getting beamed up.
Right. I got definition for wailing. It says crying with pain, grief, or anger. And why is that? Why are people gonna be crying with grief, pain, and anger? One main reason is why what the prophets have been saying was true. One major reason because what the prophets have been saying, so I had apostles, their elders before them, telling you what the Lord looks like, how he's coming back. It says howling. Makes you think about Isaiah 13.
Yeah, so people are gonna be in fear.
Yep.
Everybody's like, everybody was excited. It's gonna be a great day tomorrow. Yep. Today's the day. Yep. Woke up all excited. Today's the day. No, it's gonna be a day. Even we're gonna read it. Even the elect are gonna be scared that day.
Yep.
And they're gonna be the ones getting delivered.
And the scripture said it's gonna be a day of thick darkness and gloominess.
Yep.
It wasn't thick darkness and gloominess that day. It was still sun peeking through the clouds.
Yeah. When them chariots come, they're gonna,
it's gonna be
it's gonna be
darkness.
Yeah.
I had a vision on that.
Yeah, I had a vision. We were walking. We all telling our visions, right?
Yeah,
we don't know if it's gonna be exactly like that, but I was walking. I was actually with the San Francisco brothers, and we were walking on this like straight gate, and we were like on a mountain. It was thin. It was very like a thin trail.
Yeah.
And we just walking down this mountain. It was like very dark. It was kind of like a fiery environment.
Yep.
Everything was just like, it was mad dark and it's like fire was everywhere, kind of like. But you could still walk, And you had basically, we knew the Lord was gonna come back. It was just a time when the Lord was about to come back, and we all just was like, the Lord's coming. We saw the chariots coming down, and we just closed our eyes and prayed. blue light coming on?
Yeah, I turned it on.
Okay. Well, you was reading, bro? Was that
Yeah.
it, right?
No, it was just saying, like, you know, howling, you know,
Yeah,
wailing,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so people are going to be in huge distress in that day.
Go.
You know, very nervous, very afraid, scared to death.
Yeah, I got it.
His
Okay,
heart
okay,
filling
okay.
up
Yeah.
with fear.
People legit gonna be having heart attacks. Legit. People gonna be having heart attacks, strokes.
Listen to this here, you know, they going to know the prophets were right.
They gonna be dripping on their chest. Oh, it's gonna be that crazy.
Yep. You know, Wisdom Solomon, the 5th chapter?
That's spirit. The 5th chapter, right?
Yeah.
It's Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
Yeah, that cloud being the chariots. You're going to hear that trumpet. You know, the voice of the archangel Michael saying, come up hither, that you receive none of her plagues. Right? So, and they ascended up into heaven in the cloud, and every eye shall see him. Right? Every eye is going to see the elect getting beamed up.
Yep.
This isn't going to be some type of secret event. And during that time, there's going to be war going on in the earth.
Yeah.
World War III. That's what we're reading here in Revelation 11 chapter.
Got a quick hit?
Go ahead.
The Psalms 104 and 3, who led the beams of his chambers in the waters, who make of the clouds his chariots, who walk up upon the wings of the wind.
Yeah, so the clouds are the chariots, the spiritual vehicles of the heavens.
Yep.
That's what the clouds are. So they got vehicles that are coming, you know, to save and deliver, but also to bring destruction. Right on the same day that they're coming to bring salvation, they're coming to bring destruction. So destruction and salvation fall on the same day. That's why this is the 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance and judgment and destruction upon Esau, Edom.
Right.
You know, they go hand in hand. Any more? That's it, right?
I got a precept. You know? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord.
Yeah, you got people that believe a rapture is going to come, and then, you know, you're going to come back down to the earth in your new bodies, and, you know, and we're going to be living among them. We're going to be living testimony and say, hey, look, just like the Lord did his 40 days on the earth, you know, he spent with his apostles and showed himself to certain men that, you know, they're going to get that second chance of salvation.
Right.
That's what the Christians believe. No, when New Jerusalem come off those ships, it's going to put the earth into subjection.
Right.
You know, because there's going to be a great, and to set the world, you know, up in order again. Yeah. You know, so those who are alive and remain, because you're going to have some men who are martyrs for the truth, who are going to die, and they're gonna come back with the Lord on the ship, so they might get beamed up first, you know. And all types of natural you know, disasters, you know, not natural, basically divine. You're gonna see the power of the Lord in that day.
Yep.
You know,
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention. That's
because the only way you gonna make it through these times we're getting ready to go through is divine intervention. It's about to be famines, viruses and diseases, civil wars, Egyptian against Egyptian, beasts of the field. The only way you're gonna be able to make it through these times we're getting ready to go through is divine intervention. You're gonna need every bit of mercy and compassion you could possibly receive. You're gonna need to be directed by the Lord, because you ain't gonna be no rendezvous points. All right, yeah, we got to go to this state and go to this city, or we got to go east, or we got to go west, north, or south. No, you legit gonna be directed. Right. You ain't even gonna know which way to go. The Lord gonna put the Spirit on you.
That's right.
And what's around you. to go and to lead you to whichever way you go.
God. This is when you were talking about putting the the earth in subjection. Luke 19:27. But those my enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
That's right. After we get off those ships, we're going to go throughout the countries where Israel is and purge out the rebels.
Yep.
You know, they don't want the Lord to reign over them. They're going to be slain. What is that, Leviticus 26 and 7 or something like that? Where like one shall chase 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Like 26 and 7. Yeah, read it.
This is the book of Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 7, and it reads, "And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight."
That's right. You know, and this is gonna, Jake had that power, before, because we used to have, a high level, the nation of Israel always had a high level military because we had the Lord on our side.
That's right. Small numbers at that.
Yes, we were the smallest nation, conquering the earth, conquering, our region our portion that was given to us. When Yahweh Shai, all things were made by him and for him.
Right.
Right? Yahweh Shai is coming back to conquer the earth.
Right.
So this is going to happen again. 5 of you are going to put 100 to flight. Right again?
I mean, it's all spiritual. Like, think about it. When you see Jake, and they in a DV dispute, they bring like damn five cops, because we're naturally stronger than them. You see Jake knock out 2 sleazy E's.
Oh yeah.
And ready for more. At that one pool party, I think Jake was.
I seen that. Yeah.
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 This is the book of Leviticus 26 and verse 8. "And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemy shall fall before you by the sword."
That's right. So by the sword, our enemy is going to fall before us. This is all going to happen again when we come off those ships.
Yep.
That spiritual power to be able to chase, and to hunt down. And brothers have had dreams about that.
Yep.
Getting off the ships. Brothers get off the ship. He said, hear a loud war cry.
Yeah. I remember that.
And drums going off, the war cry. He said you could just feel it in the air. People were afraid when they heard that.
They didn't say the Lord will return with a shout. A shout.
That's a war cry.
Yeah. And that shout goes send goosebumps up your spine.
That's right.
Shit, sometimes just thinking about it, your hairs will stand up.
Right.
He said in the dream that it burst in their ears. It burst in some of their ears.
Damn.
Shout.
That's some terrible, crazy times, man.
God. So I got a quick one. This is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 29. It says, "He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increase of strength." Okay, and this is our faith, man. This is what we believe. Verse 30. "Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord," that's what this thing's about. It's about waiting. All right, and no one likes to wait. We live in a society where everything is, quick and accessible, man. Microwave society, yeah, the water.
No patience.
None.
He said even the youth, the youth seem like they always got energy out there playing.
Yep.
Chilling, having fun. But even that day, they're gonna faint.
That's right.
They're gonna be